Shadowman, with TV in between, by Thomas M. Baxa. Susan quickened her step. Work let out late today, and her stop at the White Hen for sandwiches didn't help. Billy must be hungry and the babysitter anxious to go home. Having a full-time sitter so she could get a better job, so she could afford a full-time sitter. Never enough time, constantly on the run, trying desperately to balance quality time with Billy and moments for herself. Work and 2 nights a week homework toward an unfinished degree left little time for socialization. Pop cans rattled, chip bags crackled, Twinkies and day-old sandwiches tumbled about as Susan added a hop-skip to the pace. She was anxious to give Billy that end-of-the-day hug. Later they would sit together on the sofa reading King Arthur beneath the light of a soft shade lamp. Crumbs and crumpled wrappers will have to wait until tomorrow. Billy was asleep and homework was done. Susan took 10 minutes of nothingness in with cleansing breaths and peaceful thoughts before she slid beneath the cooling sheets of her single bed. The soft flutter of breezy vinyl blinds whispered soothing rhythms as suburban street lamp afterglows sprayed window pane patterns on the ceiling. A snuggle and a sigh put Susan to sleep. 30 minutes free of tosses and 10 more of steady breathing. The LEDs read 3:02 as a Shadowman filled the open window. His silhouetted form was reminiscent of a PI or a G-man, brimmed hat, overcoat, and soft-soled shoes. The form moved in and out of checkerboard light shapes until he broke the subtle glow that watched over Susan as she slept. 3:04. He slowly folded back the sheets. Taut black leather gloves traced body contours, never touching, but ever sensitive. The 9th pass brought a twitch to the black hands. A salty drop of sweat clouded the man's vision as the untouching aroused conflicting thoughts of haves and have-nots. 3:22. Leather crunched as fingers tightened around the woman's neck. Blue eyes broke open with surprise. He liked blue eyes. The woman screamed, but only a wheeze was heard. 3:24. He held her there for several more minutes, arms and torso pinned under his weight. He stared into those blue eyes as they searched frantically for some hint of mercy from the Shadowman. He smirked as he varied the tension of his grip. Looser, then tighter. Stroking, then choking. Stop a scream. Allow a breath. Let it move, then hold it still. The woman stopped. Maybe he wasn't going to hurt her. Maybe he would take what he wanted and leave. Maybe struggling would provoke him. Maybe she didn't have a choice. 3:36. She wondered about her son. He knew. She wanted it to end. He knew. She waited to see his face. He knew. She waited for a sign. He knew. She waited for a word. He knew. "6:20. Hazy yellow rolled across the floor, pushing the shadows back under the baseboards. The sunlight crept up the back of the sofa, where Susan's auburn hair hung neatly past her shoulders and caressed the top of the backrest. Her favorite Sunday dress slouched off her right shoulder. Her arm reached forward, elbow on the armrest, wrist supported by the end. Gravity held the remote somewhere between limp fingers and flowery upholstery. The static from the TV hissed over the morning birds as the screen sprayed speckles blue and white. Susan stared evenly at the set, eyes oblivious to the noise. Her makeup was different, heavier. Mascara spiders crawled over her cheeks and mucus crusted under both nostrils. Black tape crisscrosses encircled her puckered lips and held a vacuum tube pecker gag in place. Thin wire sutures held her smile. Around Susan's finger-painted black and blue neck drooped a long gold chain that held a cameo locket suspended between her breasts. Pearl bead buttons were undone down to her navel, and the left side of the dress stretched open over Billy's head. More black tape held the 5-year-old's puckered lips hard against his mother's breast. Susan cradled her son with her left arm. Knotty twine pulled her fingers across the child's bare bottom, pinched up between his legs, looped about his fragile waist, and secured around Susan's midsection. The cat nudged back Susan's dress to sniff the red-brown stain on the seat cushion near her torn panties. Then it walked across her fishnet stocking leg to the coffee table, careful to sidestep the 7-inch red heels, ankle tied to opposing table legs, where it sat to sun itself in the warm wash glow of the new day sun.